Hello, everybody. Holy cow. Welcome to episode 2 of Bondy on Baseball. That is what we're going to call it because people have been like, yeah, it makes sense. It's got some alliteration in it. Bondy, baseball. Bondy on baseball. First off, I just want to say thank you to everyone that commented. And I was so overwhelmed by that first video of everybody that I almost cried. I am no longer going to have to necessarily talk about baseball in the shower to myself. Thank you. I can't wait to continue to do this, to continue to answer your questions and just keep an open dialogue about baseball going all season. So today, Taijuan Walker signs a 2-year, $20 million deal with the New York Mets. Huge. He's like 6'4", big guy, full of tats. Man, he's such a presence on the mound, and I was actually really excited for the Jays to hopefully sign him again because we do need a little bit more in our rotation. We did pick up Steven Matz, and there was talk that we were going to get James Paxton, the Big Maple. Funny story, my wife had been to 2 professional baseball games, and James Paxton, who's from Canada, throws a no-hitter. My wife saw a no-hitter her second game of baseball. That's insanity. It was my first no-hitter, and I've been to hundreds of baseball games. We thought we were going to get him. He signed back with Seattle. Back to Taijuan Walker. So he's with the Mets. The Mets are scary. They went out and got Francisco Lindor, Carlos Carrasco. So when you put Taijuan Walker in the mix, it just makes them even more elite. They're going to be waiting on Noah Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard, one of the buffest players in the major league. He is essentially Thor. My goodness, he's hot. But here's a question that I have. Does being buff actually help your baseball career? You have guys like Noah Syndergaard, who's been injured. We've hardly seen him pitch in a Mets uniform. We look at Aaron Judge, who is just a specimen, a physical presence, but he can't stay on the field. Giancarlo Stanton, arguably the most ripped in the series, in the major leagues. He can hardly run to first. He's breaking ankles, pulling calves, all these kind of things because he's too buff. And then you have guys like Cal Ripken Jr. This man played almost 3,000 consecutive games of baseball. And he looks like your uncle. So there is an argument there. And I don't think having abs and enormous biceps, maybe helps throw the ball, hit it, but if you don't stay on the field, you don't matter. So in this episode, great idea came to me from a friend of mine named Gabe. He wanted me to pick my favorite minor league or major league baseball team affiliate. Some of these team names are sensational. I gotta say some honorable mentions, and then I'm gonna pick my favorite. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Sounds like something that Forrest Gump and Bubba decided to make. The Everett Aqua Socks. What the hell is an aqua sock? Is it a sock that is waterproof you can use to ski on? The sock that Jesus made because he walked on water. Who knows? The Nashville Sounds. To be honest, this is kind of a lazy name to me because what sound is it? Do you just make a sound as your team cheer? Nashville, ah! Nashville, whoo! You're in! I don't even know what sound that was. But the winners, I got my top 3. I had to pick my top 3. And number 3, the Amarillo Sod Poodles. Can you imagine? Mom, I got a contract. I'm going up to AA to play for the Sod Poodles. And then the Albuquerque Isotopes. If there was ever a nerdy baseball team, this is it. And my favorite, and this is also Gabe's favorite, I think, is the El Paso Chihuahuas. Holy cow. And their logo is just one of the most sensational things I've ever seen. The El Paso Chihuahuas. They are the winner of the minor league affiliate team names. Thank you, Gabe, for the suggestion. That was so great. Now, I'm going to answer some of your awesome questions. Question time. It's question time. It's question time. Time. Question number 1 comes from @DJ Demers. He's my best friend. Some of you know him. He's a sensational comedian and a sensational friend. I gotta say it. His question is, who is going to have a bigger year, Bo, Vlad, or Kevin Biggio? My immediate gut reaction is Bo. He's a shortstop. He's star. He's got the Bo flow. He's got, which is what fans call his hair, the Bo flow. He's just kind of primed and sort of, as a young guy, in a weird leadership role, I think Bo is going to have a great year. Question number 2 comes from @BV Laxton. And this goes back to the last episode talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. Ben's question is, will he finish his contract or be shipped to a big market team later? Here's 2 things that I think have to happen for him to be traded. There's a lot of expectation on San Diego. I think for the first 5 years of his contract, if they don't become the new dynasty in the NL, then there might be talk of trading him. And the second one is if he wants to be traded, if he's unhappy somehow. But I don't think he's going to be unhappy. If you sign a 14-year contract, you're married to that team. You want to be married to that team. So I think if he's unhappy, he'll leave. And if the San Diego Padres don't pan out to be what they are kind of expected to be. Question number 3, from probably the second biggest Blue Jay fan in my family, my Aunt Eileen, @McCaben623. She asks, who do I prefer to see behind the plate? Meaning catcher. So for the Jays, obviously Danny Jansen, Danajana, as my wife calls him, Danajana, because that's what his nickname would be in Australia. Weird nicknames in Australia. But as Major League Baseball as a whole, it's absolutely JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto. For the Philadelphia Phillies, sensational catcher, calls a great game, works really well with young guys, sensational bat. Overall, he's the best catcher in the game right now. He's on my all MLB team for sure. And the final question comes from my friend @Heather Thompson. Heather writes in and says, what are you looking forward to with the Jays roster this year? 1 through 9, the Jays got sensational power. We picked up George Springer. And there is controversy, obviously, with George Springer and the Houston Astros. Took a lot to digest, but he's George Springer, and holy shit. I'm going to try not to swear on this, but holy shit. I just want to see these guys hit because, man, they're going to hit. It's going to be amazing. To finish off this episode, because it is Black History Month, we're going to talk about the one and only Cito Gaston. He coached the Toronto Blue Jays from 1989 to 1997, took an 11-year vacation, and then came back and managed them from 2008 to 2010. But the best thing about him is in the year 1992, he became the first black manager to win a world championship. And that was with the Toronto Blue Jays. For him to win the World Series with them back-to-back, 92, 93, it was magical. But the awesome story I have about Cito Gaston, I did a musical way back in the day with a gentleman by the name of Tom Szczesniak. He was best friends with Cito Gaston. He worked for the Jays at the time making music. He said he'd have dinner with him every Saturday, and I thought this was an incredible thing. One day he tells me, I'm gonna go see Cito, and I said, hey man, if you can, and this is ridiculous, could you get an audio file of him saying, hey Bondy, you're up. As a kid, you dream of that day. You're on the bench, and it's a big moment. Look, I am actually getting goosebumps. This is no joke. I don't know how that's gonna zoom in, but these are goosebumps thinking about this. This is real to me. So a weekend goes by, Monday we get back into rehearsals, and Tom says, check your email. And this audio file comes through.
Hey Bondy, you up?
Honestly, one of the coolest things, I cherish it, because now I have the audio of what it would be like to be called by Cito Gaston to go strike out. I would strike out. For sure I would strike out. I'd be so nervous. Guys, this is incredible. Please keep the questions coming, but know that this makes me happy. Shout out to my friend, my actually first friend, Grant Gunn, for a wedding gift. He got these hats made for me, my wife and I, and it has the date of our Canadian wedding stitched into the side. So Grant, thank you for that. This is a cherished gift. I thought I'd wear it today. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Bondy on Baseball. Take care, everybody. Finger guns.
Hey Bondy, you up?